time of firm resolve to more fully reveal those qualities in our lives than truly Christmas and Hanukkah in this universal sense are for all people of every creed, of every faith, in every village, and in every home. So we dedicate this service to the vision of peace on earth and goodwill to all. It is my heartfelt intention to usher in this new vision of humanity so that the leaders of all nations and the people of all spiritual traditions, races, and cultures are guided to bring forth and nurture the true spirit of unity. When we truly live from the principle of oneness, we know that we are spiritual beings having a spiritual experience, eternally linked in the community of humankind and spirit. This is the true spirit of Christmas and Hanukkah, the birth, the revealing of a very high state of being, the precursor of the establishment of peace on earth. I invite each person this evening in their own personal way to join me in honoring both Christmas Eve and Hanukkah, and I invite you to join me in activating the spirit of unity and goodwill in our own hearts so that it may spread far and wide. And so now a beautiful song by Bob Sima, Kiss God.
Hello. I almost said
Hi.
good morning. First time I've been here in the evening. It's good to be with you. What an honor to be here on this this day, this holy day. They're all holy, but this one. So this song I wrote regarding the embodiment of spirituality. I always felt like it was separate from me when I was a kid. I grew up Catholic, and I was kind of I always felt God when I was in the woods, and I was walking by the stream and that kind of thing. So it's a little song I wrote called "Kiss God." When no one is looking, I swallow deserts and clouds, and I chew on mountains, 'cause I know they are sweet bones. When no one is looking, I sip from the cool summer sky. I savor the blue of it, and it colors my eyes. When no one is looking, I wanna kiss God. When no one is looking, I wanna kiss God. So I lift up my own hand to my mouth when no one is looking. I call forth the thunder and the rain. I lasso the sunshine, and it warms the blood in my veins. When no one is looking, I talk with the flowers and the trees, and I tell them my secrets, and they listen to me. When no one is looking at me, what is looking through me can see, and I feel everything it feels me. When I'm all alone in my own sweet home, I can hear the silence call. I blow off the dust from the Milky Way, and I polish off the stars, and the dust on my fingers, it's my own. When no one is looking, I paint smiles on faces with frowns, and I swipe a little lift from a joyful child who's holding my hand. When no one is looking, I breathe in with you, and I feel sweet relief, and I hold the mystery closer than I hold my beliefs. Yeah, I hold the mystery closer than I hold my beliefs. When no one is looking. Can I get like a gospel choir? When no one is looking, let's hear it. I wanna kiss God when no one is looking. I wanna kiss God, so I lift up my own hand to my mouth. I lift up my own hand to my mouth, and I lay one down, and I hold the mystery closer than I hold my belief. Yeah, I hold the mystery closer than I hold my belief. Let's hear it for the choir. Yes. Yes. Group.
Thank you so much, Bob. And so Ernest Holmes, the founder of our teaching, wrote a poem on Christmas Eve that will be offered tonight by Candace Berkowitz. So if you would like to come forth. Yeah.
Before I start this, I just wanted to say the other tie-in, of course, with Christmas and Hanukkah is that Jesus was a Jew and he was a rabbi, and he demonstrated that light in perfection. And thus we have Christianity as well. Asleep in the heart of cosmic love, unborn universal potential, the Christ child lay. And the great mother soul, brooding over her unborn child, conceived it in the stillness of her universal nature, imparting to it her own being, born into time and experience, unnoticed, unseen yet alive and aware. The Christ child incarnated in human form, taking the likeness of men and women, yet giving no sign of its presence, waiting with utmost patience and love, the revelation that should disclose itself and proclaim the reign of peace Many ages passed and vanished in the long yesterdays of time, and still the Christ child waited. Nations appeared and disappeared. Toil, famine, pestilence, and want. And still the seed of perfection, unrevealed. But the universal wholeness cannot be forever concealed, nor cosmic love be kept from human form. That which was given must be revealed. The seed of perfection must burst. The shoots of heavenly planting must break the cords of that bind, fanning the human into a blaze of divine. And so the long-appointed day arrived. A voice from out of the stillness spoke, "This is my beloved child. Let the earth be still in her presence. Let the beasts of the field, the birds of the air, and all living creatures be still. Let the hosts of heaven sing the praises." Then spoke the child, "I am come to bring peace. I am the child of joy, and to all who will, I give life. I am formed of happiness. I am come from the eternal stillness. Quietness and confidence are mine. In the heart of the Father, I have lived forever. O nations and all people, look unto me and be saved. Behold my face shining as the sun, and my feet shod with righteousness. In my left hand are riches and honor, and in my right hand peace forevermore. All that I am, all that I have, I give to you on this most holy night. God approaches. He missed his cue.
God approaches. Huh? Well, that was when she paused. So.
Oh, so we're doing Tibetan bowls. We're not doing New Ra. Okay.
Maybe we can find another spot for it.
Okay. So the word, where this came from, the words are from Krishnamacharya, who you probably know of, being a yoga teacher, but he said the words that when you breathe in, God approaches. When you hold the inhale, God remains. And then when you breathe out, you approach God. And when you hold the exhale, you surrender to God. And so I wrote this song, this sort of chant around this concept. So I invite you to just breathe along with it the first time or two, just to get a feel for it, and then we'll sing it together. How's that sound?
That's
Yes.
good.
But to how few has come the real truth, the realization that God is indwelling in the soul, and spirit of humanity. And yet, this realization is what gave Jesus his wonderful power.
So tonight, my intention is that we more fully realize this inner presence that we've been speaking about all evening, that this potential that resides within all of us is something that was not born when the man Jesus was born. It was something that actually came much, much earlier, all the way back to Genesis 1, where it says God created man in his own image. So Jesus discovered the Christ dimension within himself, if we think of it as a dimension of wholeness and oneness that is accessible to all of us. And then he fulfilled that potential. And so the Christmas story does not end with the birth of Jesus. Instead, it foretells the birth or the revealing of this high state of consciousness in us all, no matter what our religious background or what our tradition. What might the birth of this eternal cosmic light within mean to you? Could it mean making a conscious and deliberate choice to spread the light wherever you go? When you enter the consciousness of living and breathing from the light, you'll begin to experience a new energy in every relationship and every situation that you encounter. What if you made a deliberate choice to be a revealer of the light? And what if you did that now, not after you're more ready, more educated, or more enlightened, but what if you made that choice now? In Matthew chapter 5, verse 14, Jesus told the multitudes, "You are the light of the world." He didn't say you will be, he said you are the light of the world. "Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven." And at another point, he said, actually several points, he said, the kingdom of heaven or the kingdom of God is within. So the message was there. And in the Judaic tradition, Suzanne Fields wrote, Hanukkah is about the spark of the divine in all of us, made in God's image. There's the parallel again. When we make the decision to be the light and let it be, our actions will follow suit and the miraculous takes place. So I have two stories that I'd like to share with you. One is a more contemporary story that actually was featured on NPR. And it starts back in the 1980s and moves forward to the present time. But back in the 1980s, a musician by the name of Daryl Davis, he was a black boogie-woogie pianist who was part of an otherwise white band. And he found himself in conversation with an admirer of his piano skills after his performance in the Silver Dollar Lounge in Frederick, Maryland. The admirer turned out to be a member of the KKK and actually showed him his membership card at the time. Daryl's encounter caused him to wonder how someone could hate other people without even knowing them. And so he set out on a quest. He decided to write a book about it. And to begin with his gathering information, he decided to interview the Maryland Grand Dragon of the KKK, Roger Kelly. Now, the Grand Dragon, for those of you who don't know, I was learning this myself, is the head of all the Ku Klux Klan in a state. And so he finally set up this interview, if you can imagine, and met with him in one of the rooms, hotel rooms, connected to the Silver Dollar Lounge, and took his secretary with him. And the Grand Dragon shows up with his bodyguard called a hawk, gun, out, his gun pulled and ready to be used. And so he literally put himself in grave danger just to even conduct this interview. But the interesting thing that happens is that during the interview, Daryl was so adept at remaining respectful, even though he disagreed with the viewpoints of Kelly. And what happened is that over time, Kelly began to develop a respect for Daryl. And even asked Daryl, well, anytime you're in town or you're around and you're playing, I'd like to come to hear your music. And then over the years, the friendship continued to develop, even though they had very differing points of view. And one conversation led to the next. And pretty soon, Daryl was in conversation with the 3 key leaders in Maryland of the Ku Klux Klan, Robert White, Roger Kelly, and Chester Doles, and became friends with them. So this is what the NPR interview says, that Daryl's comment was about all of this. He said, when the 3 Klan leaders here in Maryland, Robert White, Roger Kelly, and Chester Doles and I became friends, the 3 Klan leaders here in Maryland left the Klan and became friends of mine. That ended the Ku Klux Klan in the state of Maryland. Today, there's no more Ku Klux Klan in the state of Maryland. They've tried to revive it every now and then, but it immediately falls apart. So Daryl demonstrated incredible courage. And to me, this is what it means to be the light. Think about what he did. He was willing to try to understand another person's perspective, remain in a state of respect, and over time, through conversation, through dialogue, there was a shift that took place, obviously, in these other men, and a really radical change took place. There's another story, the story of Benjamin Franklin. He wanted to introduce the street lamp in Philadelphia. And so what he did is he didn't publish an editorial. He didn't argue with his neighbors. He didn't try to sway the politicians to form a new law. What he did is he hung a lamp outside of his home and lit the wick every single night over a period of time. And people began to admire the light in front of his home. So bit by bit, person by person, began to hang lights outside of their homes until the entire city of Philadelphia was covered with street lamps. So these 2 men, in their own way, stood for this thing that we call being the light, being the Christ consciousness, and doing it in 2 different ways. Ben Franklin very quietly, and Daryl very actively engaging another in dialogue. And so there are many different ways that we can do this. But if these 2 people can do this, and we know there are many, many other examples of this, we too can spread the light. And so I just invite you to take a moment and consider some way that you could spread the light, or maybe some person that you have a difference of an opinion with, or or just a general disagreement with their perspective. What would happen if everybody in this room were to have a dialogue to try to reach mutual understanding? And these may be people who are already friends, I don't know, or they might be people who you don't get along with. It could be a neighbor, it could be a coworker. but someone where you could bridge the gap. It might be somebody from a different spiritual tradition where you could bridge the gap and begin to create some understanding. And then before we know it, things could change dramatically over the planet. So we know that we can't rely on someone else to do it for us. We can't rely on the political establishment. We can't rely on a lot of we can't there are a lot of things that we can't rely on. So it really is up to us. This is a grassroots thing that I'm talking about that begins with each and every one of us. We truly can make a difference. So the key is to find some common ground. And to me, this is what building a community of care and compassion means locally and globally. We begin it by establishing friendships, connections that promote mutual understanding and respect. And I don't know about you, but I don't know a better way to establish peace on earth. Thank you.
By striving to realize the consciousness which he obtained. Let us make this celebration an uplifting and spiritual experience. Let us not, for a moment, forget the one whose birthday is being commemorated. While in our zeal, we go about the joyful and exciting preparations for this holy festivity. Let us use this occasion as a new impetus to inspire us on the Christ path of truth and love. Let us use it as an opportunity to express the universal Christ love for all people and all creations, exalted and lowly, near and far, large and small, known and unknown. While are we remembering the physical body of the baby Christ Jesus, let us realize his eternal, loving presence and omnipresent Christ consciousness, which is always with us, no matter where we are or what we are doing. Let us resolve anew to discipline ourselves to control our bodies, our minds, and our emotions, and to strive ever towards Christ's understanding. Let us establish the Prince of Peace consciousness as our inner ruler, that we may meet our crosses and tests of life with power, victory, and tranquility. Let us meditate until we perceive the infinite Christ reigning in our own hearts. Let us learn to love those who love us not, and forgive those who do ill against us. Let us break all our mental boundaries of color, creed, and nationality, and receive all, even our inanimate and animal brothers, in the endless, all-embracing arms of our Christ consciousness. This will be a true and fitting celebration of the coming of Jesus Christ to this earth. Let us rejoice and give thanks for this wonderful gift of light that we've spoken so much about tonight, and love from the great giver. Peace, joy, and love. Thank you.
Here in the dark is the night. We bring the love and we bring the light. We are the ones, we are the ones who've been waiting for. There's a writing on the wall and a knocking on the door. Call of the wild in a whisper in the wind, and we just know. So, there is light in our eyes. It's the same as the stars. Compassion is our action. It's fire in our hearts. We are the ones. We are the ones who've been waiting for. We're alive and wide awake. And peace is what we make. We illuminate this world with every breath we take. We are the ones. We are the ones who've been waiting for.
Yes. Perfect. And so we come to a most sacred time together, our candle lighting. And so I'm going to, as everybody begins to turn on your candles, I'm going to invite Dan to